You think you know how to please your man, and hey, you probably do an amazing job, and he tells you so. But what if I told you there's a part of his body you might be overlooking, an area that holds the key to a whole new dimension of ecstasy for him? What if learning to focus on that spot could unlock the most powerful, earth-shattering orgasms of his life? This isn't a myth, it's all about technique. For years, we've been taught to focus almost entirely on the penis, treating it like the main event. But the place where the pleasure-powering hormones and a whole universe of nerve endings come from is often treated like an afterthought. I'm talking, of course, about his testicles. And no, this isn't just about a gentle cup or a random squeeze. This is about a specific practice that can completely transform your sex life. Move number 3, the rolling pressure, mapping the pleasure zones. We've awakened the area and built a rhythm. Now it's time to become an explorer. Move number 3, the rolling pressure, is all about discovering the unique cartography of his pleasure. The scrotum has its own landscape of hot spots, and this move is designed to find them, activate them, and begin mapping out his personal pleasure zones. What we're doing here is using targeted friction. By applying focused pressure and making tiny circular movements, you stimulate a dense concentration of nerve endings in a very specific way. Unlike the broad strokes we've used so far, this is detailed, focused work. It tells his brain, pay attention to this exact spot. This can create surprising jolts of pleasure and helps you identify the areas that will be most responsive as you build toward climax. Here's your guide to mapping the pleasure zones. For this, you'll mainly use the pads of your fingertips, not the tips or your nails. Make sure your hands stay well lubricated. Start with the pad of 1 or 2 fingers. Gently but firmly press into the side of the scrotum. Now, here's the key. Instead of rubbing the surface, you want to create friction with the tissue underneath the skin. To do this, press in gently and make very small, slow circles without lifting your fingertips. Imagine you're trying to draw a tiny circle on the testicle itself, through the skin. Move with extreme slowness. You are on a treasure hunt for pleasure. Explore the entire surface area, one side at a time. Pay super close attention to his reactions. A slight intake of breath, a twitch in his leg, a soft moan. These are the X's that mark the spot. When you get a positive reaction, pause there. Hold a steady, gentle pressure on that spot for 15 to 30 seconds. You can even ask him to breathe into the sensation. Remember these spots. You're creating a mental map of his most erogenous points. This is invaluable information that will make all future encounters more explosive. The biggest mistake here is moving too fast or searching frantically. This is a slow, meditative exploration. Think of yourself as an archaeologist carefully brushing away dust. Another common error is applying too much direct pressure with the tip of the finger. It should feel like a deep, satisfying pressure, not a sharp poke. As a pro tip, you can use your other hand to provide gentle counter pressure. For instance, if you're applying rolling pressure to the right side, use the palm of your left hand to gently press against the left side. This creates an encompassing 3D sensation that makes the focused pressure of your fingertips feel even more intense. It's a feeling of being completely held and pleasured from all sides. Dedicate at least 4 to 5 minutes to this exploratory phase. You're moving beyond generic techniques and into the world of personalized, bespoke pleasure. You are learning the specific secrets his body holds, and that intimate knowledge is the foundation for the most profound orgasms he will ever experience. Move number 4, the pull and stretch, the sensation amplifier. We've explored the surface and mapped the hot spots. Now it's time to introduce a completely new and surprising sensation. Move number 4, the pull and stretch, is exactly what it sounds like. It's a technique designed to amplify everything by creating a gentle downward traction. This move can be incredibly intense precisely because it's so different from the stroking and squeezing he's used to. So what's the magic behind this move? It's part physical, part psychological. Physically, a gentle stretch brings even more blood and nerve awareness to the area. Psychologically, it introduces novelty and surprise, which are powerful drivers of arousal. It also taps into a feeling of gentle dominance and surrender. When he allows you to take hold and stretch this vulnerable area, it signifies a profound level of trust, which is a huge turn-on in itself. Here's how to do it. And please, pay close attention, as the key here is to be extremely gentle. First, make sure your hands and his scrotum are still very well lubricated. This is non-negotiable for this move. Gently encircle the upper part of the scrotum with the thumb and forefinger of one hand, just below the base of the penis. Your grip should be firm enough to get a hold, but not tight. Now, very slowly, gently, and deliberately, begin to pull the entire scrotum downward, away from his body. This is a slow motion stretch, not a quick tug. The stretch should only be to the point of a slight, pleasurable tension. Watch his face and body language. You're looking for a look of surprised pleasure, not a wince of pain. This is another perfect time for a quick check-in. How's this? Hold this gentle stretch for only a few seconds. No more than 10 to 20 seconds. Any longer can become uncomfortable. The magic is in the application and release. After holding, release the stretch just as slowly as you applied it. The feeling of release can be just as pleasurable as the stretch itself. The number one mistake here is pulling too hard or too fast. I can't say this enough. Less is more. A gentle, satisfying stretch is the goal. The second mistake is not using enough lube, which will cause the skin to drag and pinch. The third is holding the stretch for too long. It's a brief, intense highlight, not a sustained hold. For a truly advanced variation, combine this with the other moves. As you're holding the gentle downward stretch, use the fingers of your other hand to perform the light effleurage glide, move number 1, or a few pulses of the gentle squeeze, move number 2. The combination of the downward tension with the active stimulation from your other hand creates a symphony of sensation that is almost overwhelmingly pleasurable. Use this move sparingly but powerfully. It's the spice you add to the dish, not the main ingredient. A few gentle pulls can dramatically elevate the whole experience and break through any pleasure plateaus. Move number 5, the circular knot release, the grand finale prep. We have taken him on a journey. We awakened his senses, built a rhythm, mapped his zones, and amplified everything. Now we arrive at the final move before the grand finale. Move number 5, the circular knot release, is our most focused technique. It's designed to find and release the tiniest, deepest points of tension, preparing his body for a massive orgasmic release. This is the move that can tip him over the edge from really good to unforgettable. The why here is basically trigger point therapy, refined for this delicate area. We all hold tension in our bodies, and these tiny points, or knots, can inhibit the full flow of orgasmic energy. By applying sustained, focused, circular pressure, you encourage them to release. This release sends a flood of sensation through the tissue, clearing the pathways for a more powerful, full-body orgasm. It's like clearing a log jam in a river right before the dam breaks. Here's your guide to preparing for the grand finale. This move is a more intense version of the rolling pressure from move number 3. Using the flat pad of 1 or 2 fingers, you're going to explore again, but this time you're hunting for a very specific sensation. Press gently and have him guide you. Tell me when I find a spot that feels interesting. You're looking for a spot that's exquisitely sensitive, a knot of pleasure. It might feel slightly tender, but in a good way. Once you've found a spot, apply firm but gentle, sustained pressure with the pad of your finger. Now, begin a very small, very slow, circular friction on that single point. Again, you're not rubbing the surface, you're moving the tissue under the skin. The movement should be no larger than a pea. Hold this deep, circular pressure for up to a minute, or until you feel the tension under your fingertip begin to soften. Encourage him to breathe deeply into the spot you're touching. This mental focus, combined with the physical touch, is incredibly powerful. After you feel the release, this next step is crucial. Don't just move on. Immediately follow up this intense pressure with a few strokes of the light, soothing Effleurage glide from move number 1. This contrast between intense, pinpoint focus and soft, all-encompassing strokes is electrifying to the nervous system. It overloads the receptors in one spot and then soothes them, leaving the area hypersensitized and buzzing with energy. The biggest mistake here is pressing too hard or looking for actual pain. Communication is everything. The second mistake is skipping the soothing follow-up. The magic is in the contrast. For the ultimate pro tip, integrate this right into his build-up to orgasm. As you feel him getting closer, his breathing getting faster, this is the time to use the circular knot release. Find one of those hot spots you mapped and apply this focused pressure. This targeted, unexpected sensation can be the key that transforms a standard orgasm into a full-body, mind-bending experience. By mastering this final move, you aren't just a participant in his pleasure, you are the architect of it, setting the stage for a truly earth-shattering release. So there you have it, the 5 secret moves to unlock a new universe of pleasure. We started with the gentle awakening, then built a rhythm with the gentle squeeze. We became explorers with the rolling pressure, amped things up with the pull and stretch, and finally prepped for the main event with the circular knot release. By mastering these moves, you're learning a new language of pleasure and connection. You're moving beyond the predictable script and becoming a true connoisseur of his body. These aren't just tricks, they are rituals of trust and presence that will deepen your bond in ways you can't even imagine. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 moves are you most excited to try? Or maybe you have a secret technique of your own. Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one, and your experience could help someone else on their journey. And if you found this guide valuable, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. I have so much more to share with you. Also, check out the description below for a link to my advanced digital course on achieving mind-blowing pleasure for you and your partner. Thank you for joining me. Now go and explore. As an intimacy coach, I've worked with hundreds of couples who felt like they'd hit a plateau. And time again, the biggest breakthroughs came from exploring the exact areas we're conditioned to ignore. His testicles are packed with sensitive nerve endings, way more than most people realize. Stimulating them correctly doesn't just feel good, it sends a signal to his entire nervous system to relax, to open up, and to build pleasure in a way that's deeper and more profound than the quick, friction-based fun he might be used to. In this video, I'm pulling back the curtain on 5 secret moves, a step-by-step blueprint focused entirely on this powerhouse of pleasure. We're going to bust the myths, get over the awkwardness, and give you concrete techniques that will not only blow his mind, but also deepen the connection between you. By the end of this, you won't just be touching him, you'll be playing his body like an instrument, building to a crescendo he never even knew was possible. You see, the secret to these kinds of mind-blowing orgasms isn't about going harder or faster. It's about understanding the symphony of his arousal and knowing which instruments to play and when. The testicles are the string section of this orchestra. They set the tone, create that emotional swell, and build the beautiful tension that makes the finale a full-body experience, not just a localized event. Most people are essentially skipping the whole first half of the concert and then wondering why the ending feels a little rushed. Today, we're going to teach you how to be the conductor, the foundation, mindset, and preparation. Before your hands go anywhere near him, we need to talk about the most important sexual organ of all, the brain. His and yours. The area we're focusing on is incredibly vulnerable, both physically and emotionally. Most men have a lifetime of subconscious programming telling them to protect this area at all costs. One wrong move can trigger a defensive reflex and shut down any hope of pleasure. So, job number 1 is to create an environment of absolute safety, trust, and communication. This isn't just foreplay, it's the non-negotiable groundwork for the transcendent experience you're about to create. First, let's get into the right headspace. When you approach this area with care, intention, and confidence, you're sending a powerful message. I see you. I trust you. You are totally safe with me. That feeling of safety is what unlocks the physical floodgates of pleasure. Without it, his body will stay guarded and the sensations will just stay on the surface. We want to go deeper. We want to get to that primal, relaxed state where those truly earth-shattering orgasms are born. And that brings us to the most important tool you've got: communication. Bringing this up might feel a little awkward. You don't want to make it sound like you're criticizing what you've been doing. So frame it as a fun new adventure for both of you. Try something like, I was reading about how much pleasure potential is hidden in a man's testicles, and it made me realize we've never really explored that together. Would you be open to me trying some new things on you? I really want to learn what feels amazing for you. See the language there? It's collaborative. We, together. It's all about his pleasure. What feels amazing for you? And it's an invitation, not a demand. This takes the pressure off and sparks curiosity. During the act, you need a simple way to get feedback. Try using a pleasure scale. Just ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is stop and 10 is heaven, where is this touch right now? It's a super clear, easy way for him to give you direction without having to find the right words in the heat of the moment. Simple questions like, more of this, or softer or firmer, work wonders too. You're not a performer. You're partners on a journey of discovery. Now, let's set the scene. This is not a quickie. This is a ritual. Dim the lights. Make sure the room is warm. A cold draft can make the scrotum contract, which is the opposite of what we want. Put your phones on silent and in another room. The focus should be 100% on the sensory experience you're creating. Have him lie down, propped up on some pillows, so his body is totally relaxed and open. Finally, the tools of the trade. Your hands, which should be warm. Rub them together for a second before you start. Cold hands are a total shock to the system. The other non-negotiable is lube, and I mean a generous amount. The skin here is delicate, and any friction is a buzzkill. Lube ensures your hands can glide smoothly and sensuously. A good water-based lube is always a great choice, but for a long, sensual massage like this, you might consider a silicone or oil-based one, like coconut oil if you know there are no allergies. They last longer and give you a richer, more slippery glide. Just be sure to pour it into your hand first to warm it up, not directly onto his skin. With the mood set, communication flowing, and your tools ready, you've created a sacred space for exploration. You've shown him, without a single touch, that he's safe and about to be seriously pleasured. This foundation is everything. Now, and only now, are you ready for the first move. Move number 1, the Effleurage glide, the gentle awakening. This first move is the alpha and the omega of our technique. It's how we begin, what we return to between other moves, and how we can choose to end. Effleurage is just a fancy French word for to touch lightly, and it's a core stroke in massage. The purpose here is simple. Warm up the tissues, get his body used to your touch here, and start soothing his nervous system so he shifts from thinking to just feeling. So why does this feel so damn good? It all comes down to his nervous system. Light, flowing strokes activate the rest and digest system, the total opposite of fight or flight. When you trigger this, his heart rate slows, his breathing deepens, and his muscles relax. It tells his body on a primal level that he is safe and can let go. Plus, this gentle motion increases blood flow to the area, which amps up sensitivity and is great for overall testicular health. You're literally waking up the nerve endings. Here's how to do the gentle awakening, step by step. First, take a generous dollop of lube and rub your palms together until they're warm and slick. This moment of anticipation alone can be incredibly arousing for him. Position yourself comfortably beside him where you can move your hands freely. Now, you're going to use your whole hand, not just your fingertips. Keep your fingers together and your palm soft and relaxed, like a paintbrush. The stroke starts at the very base of the scrotum. With one hand, apply gentle, even pressure and glide your entire palm up towards the base of the penis. The pressure should be just enough to feel substantial, not ticklish, but very light. Here's the most important part. The motion has to be continuous. As your first hand reaches the top, your second hand should be starting its own glide from the bottom. It's like you're passing a baton in a relay race, but the baton is a wave of pure sensation. One hand flows seamlessly into the next, no jerky stops and starts. If you can, try to sync your movement with his breathing. Let your hands glide up as he breathes in and flow down as he breathes out. This subconscious connection is incredibly powerful. A common mistake is moving too quickly. This isn't a race. The goal is relaxation. A slow, meditative pace is way more effective. Another mistake is using pokey fingertips. Keep those hands flat and soft. And finally, try not to break contact. The magic is in the continuous, enveloping nature of the move. For a pro tip, try varying the surface of your hand. After a minute or two of using your palms, switch to using the soft backs of your fingers in the same gliding motion. The change in sensation can reawaken the nerves and add a whole new layer of pleasure. Continue this effleurage glide for at least 2 to 3 minutes. Don't be in a hurry to get to the next thing. This move, done right, is profoundly pleasurable on its own. It's the gentle rain before the storm. Watch his body language. You might see his breathing deepen or his hips start to gently rock with your hands. Those are all signs you've successfully prepared him for the next level. Move number 2, the gentle squeeze and release, building the tension. All right, the area is warm, lubed up, and ready. Now we can start to build a more focused layer of sensation. We're moving from those broad, sweeping strokes to a more intimate and rhythmic pressure. This move, the gentle squeeze and release, is all about building arousal by introducing a rhythm his body can learn and anticipate, a key component for building orgasmic tension. And the reason this works is fascinating. It gently mimics the principles of acupressure. When you apply rhythmic pressure to tissue, you encourage a rush of fresh, oxygenated blood to flow in as you release, which heightens sensitivity like crazy. It also starts to play with that pleasure-pain edge, not in a bad way, but in the way a deep tissue massage can feel intense and amazing at the same time. Here is how you master the gentle squeeze and release. Keeping your hands and his body slick with lube, gently cup his testicles in the palm of one hand. Your grip should feel soft and all-encompassing. Imagine you are holding a very delicate, priceless object, like a tiny bird or an incredibly ripe peach. That is the level of care you need to bring to this. Your power comes from control, not force. With your hand cupping him, slowly and deliberately apply a gentle, even squeeze. This is not a pinch with your fingers, it's a full, palmar squeeze. The pressure should be just enough for him to feel a distinct compression. This is the perfect time to use that 1 to 10 pleasure scale. Just check in. Tell me when this pressure is at a 5 or a 6. That's your sweet spot. Anything more can start to feel uncomfortable and trigger that protective reflex we want to avoid. Hold that gentle squeeze for a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Then, just as slowly, release the pressure completely, but don't take your hand away. Let the tissues decompress. Wait for another count of 3. Now repeat. Squeeze. 2, 3, and release. 2, 3. It becomes a hypnotic pulse of pleasure. His body will learn this rhythm, and the anticipation of the next squeeze will become part of the turn-on. A common mistake here is squeezing too hard or too fast. This can cause pain and will instantly kill the mood you've worked so hard to build. Remember, 5 or 6 out of 10. The second mistake is pinching with the fingertips instead of using a broad, palmar grip. A pinch is sharp and alarming. A squeeze is deep and reassuring. For an advanced variation, once you've got a steady rhythm going with one hand, bring in the other. Alternate the squeezes between your left and right hands. As the right hand releases, the left hand begins to squeeze. This creates a more complex, overlapping sensation that feels incredible. Spend a good 3 to 4 minutes on this move. It's the bridge between the gentle awakening and the more intense work to come. You are actively building the orgasmic charge in his body and teaching his system to accept and enjoy a higher level of intensity, all while keeping him in a state of deep, pleasurable bliss.